What's up? What's up? What's up? And welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce, and today is a special day because we're going to do some pre gaming for what we think is going to go on with this Batman movie. The Batman is coming to theaters this weekend. I will be going to see it on Thursday. Hopefully, you have procured your tickets. We're going to take a look at my theater. I've been using my theater as a gauge for excitement because when I bought my ticket for the Batman, and I bought it like a week after it had already been on pre-sale, and it was only 5 people in the theater. So I checked again a little later, and crazy, it was still not that many people going. Now, in fairness, I'm going to see it on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's like I feel like a lot of people are probably going to go see the later shows, but I still kind of expected the theaters to be packed for the Batman. So as I was looking at my theater, and I'm going to pull it up here so you guys can see. As I was looking at my theater, I was like, this theater still wasn't packed. And that was Saturday, I think. Might have been Saturday or Sunday that I looked. So I said, well, let's just take a look now and see if people have started buying these tickets. Uh, I'm pulling up the AMC theater that I'm going to. Hey, Bun, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I'm pulling up the theater that I'm going to and the time that I'm going. Hey, Clarence, and I'm going to see if anything has changed as far as how many people have purchased tickets to go see this movie. So I'm going to a 3 o'clock show. Y'all know I'm an old lady and I don't like being around people. But this is kind of disheartening. Because like I said, when I bought my ticket, there was only 5 seats sold. So I could pretty much just pick anything. And now when you look at this, I can't say a lot has changed. There's just, and that's a 3 o'clock screening. So I know that everybody, is not home from work or school or whatever at 3 o'clock. So let's look at another time. Let's look at if I was getting out of school or work, maybe 6 or 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock screening. So looking a little better than it did the other day. Still nowhere near as full as I thought it was. These are regular digital screenings. So it's not like this is IMAX or the Dolby. I'm going to look at those in just a second. But I'm just shocked that more people haven't come out and started just buying tickets to 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 have their seat reserved. I'm gonna look at the 10 o'clock for the March 3rd showing, and then I'm gonna go to another theater. Lysandra says she wonders if it's gonna pick up over the weekend. I think with word of mouth, it will. Like people will start saying, "Oh, okay, well they're saying it's good, so I'll go check it out." But these pre-sales give the weekend blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm trying to say. The pre-sales give the weekend box office a lift. And it also can give you an idea of where the thing is going. There have been people who will say that this is going to make, say, 100 to 120 million dollars opening weekend. I think that's a safe bet, but I'm just not seeing it reflected in the local theaters that I go to. Doesn't mean that other areas don't have a higher excitement level. I'm gonna check out some the Dolby stuff at one of the other theaters, the one that I don't go to because it's too far. Well, it's too far for me. So Dolby has a 3 o'clock screening. This one looks a lot better than it did the other day. A lot. People are starting. So this is a 3 o'clock Dolby screening. So people are going to see it in different definitions and in different with different features added to it. Yeah, okay, I know I gotta be. This one looks good. This is 7 o'clock, Thursday, March 3rd, at the Dolby Cinema. And let me see what IMAX is looking like. IMAX 330, not as full as I'd hoped, but let's see. Dolby, no, we'll check the IMAX at 330. Oh, I checked that one. Sorry. The IMAX at 730. Okay, so people are going to see the IMAX screenings, the Dolby sound screenings, but they're not going to see the digital screenings the way that they were for the other movies, which in a way is good for me, but also in another way, it's like, okay, with Spider-Man No Way Home, I kind of with Spider-Man No Way Home, I got the experience even at an earlier screening. I got that full screening, that full cinema experience. And I was kind of expecting the same thing to go down with the Batman. It's looking better. The ticket sales appear to have gone up. People are far more interested. We are getting a whole lot of critics and a whole lot, the press and the critics get to go a little early. Those that I have seen, that I have paid attention to, that I know are not going to spoil me, they have all had nothing but good things to say about the Batman. So I feel like I'm in a better place now. I feel like I feel like we might, this movie might see some success, and we need it to. We need it to. If you are a fan of that crazy, insane roster of characters from DC, we need these movies with the legacy characters to do well, so that they'll take a chance with some of the other characters in their catalog. And this ain't no Marvel versus DC thing. This is simply, if you want to see the characters that you are attracted to, that you have an affinity to, then we need to support the other movies, especially the legacy characters. Claire says, has this movie been in heavy advertisement rotation? He kind of feels like no one knows about it. I think they were banking on just the popularity of the character, probably, because they didn't throw a whole lot of money. It doesn't seem. You would have expected to have seen a Batman commercial trailer played during the Super Bowl, especially seeing as how close that big game was to the actual opening of this movie. I expected to see something in the Super Bowl about the Batman. Saw nothing. They did do it for the NBA All-Star game, but if we're being realistic with ourselves, the NBA All-Star weekend is not the same type of draw as the Super Bowl game. See, Angus says he'd like to see a movie made of DC's Hawk and Dove. And that's what I'm saying. If you want them, and not you personally, Angus, but but if we would like to see something like Hawk and Dove, I would like to see Hawkman and Hawkwoman with a Hawkgirl, Hawkman with their own movie to introduce those characters. But if these legacy characters don't do well, they're not going to take a chance on their smaller, lesser known characters, even though they should feel a little bit more encouraged after the success of The Peacemaker on HBO Max. While the Suicide Squad did not do well in the box offices, the audience scores were high. The audiences who did go see the Suicide Squad were satisfied with the picture, and they came out and supported the Peacemaker as well. And the Peacemaker was a pretty that's a pretty recent success. So if they have gotten a little more confidence in their catalog, which I don't understand how you could fall out of confidence when you've got a catalog of characters that like DC has. DC didn't run into any of the Marvel problems where Marvel had sold off so many of its properties. DC has all their characters in-house. They can use any one of them. So at this point, it's like even if your legacy characters aren't working out, back them up with with a lesser known character. And Lysandra says she's never seen a trailer at all of the movie. Now, I know that I posted a few, but it shouldn't be up to creators, especially when anytime I talk about one of these trailers, it gets demonetized. Okay, so if I do a trailer reaction, it'll either get demonetized or it'll get blocked in a lot of regions. I'm a small content creator. Bigger content creators, they give a little more leeway. They've got a different type of relationship with. I get it. But if I'm trying to drum up excitement for your movie, you would think that you would be excited that I'm excited and that I'm going to tell other people how excited I am. But that's a copyright thing. It doesn't have an awful lot to do with the studios itself, I don't think. But it is a copyright thing. And yeah. So if Lysandra is in this group and she's here every week and we're talking about this movie every week, but she's never seen a trailer, the only place that she would probably see a trailer is if she's here every week and I get to play it. So I think that they need to come up with a better way of blocking or you know using their freaking copyright rules. But at the same time, there have been several big trailers that came out. We'll say 3. They came out with 3 trailers. One of them was so far back, it might have been 2020. It might have been the end of 2020 where we saw that trailer, the first one. Because I can remember that's when I was talking Court of Owls and all of that. So I know that that has been at least 2 years ago. Yeah, they haven't done enough as far as marketing is concerned. They're expecting the marketing to do itself, and hopefully the word of mouth will turn that situation around, because it's something that I didn't really consider, that there a lot of people are not obsessed. They're not obsessed with this shit, so they're not going to see the trailer the way somebody like me is. So it's just another thing to think about. But what we're going to be considering today is kind of just the characters that we know, the Batman that we have already had a relationship with, an experience with these Batman, and which ones were that truly embodied the character, which one embodied parts of the character, and which one do we think just pulled this whole thing off pretty well. So fun. Now I've got my choices. You guys know that you don't have to agree with me. In fact, I'm hoping that you can make me see things another way, because to be quite honest, to go through to put this list together, I went off of my memory. I did watch these movies. I think it was maybe 2017, 2018. I rewatched as many of them as I could. And then I got caught up with the Snyder cut of the Justice League. I got caught up with that. You said Kevin Conroy. I think we'll see him a little bit in this. What I was going for, however, was just live action portrayals, because once we pull the animated series and the animated stuff, it's really like it's a no-brainer to me. But Kevin Conroy even did a live action version of the Batman. So we're going to talk about that. There is one that I'm missing. I had forgotten about. So he's missing, but we could talk about him as well. You said at least Aquaman and Flash got a plug recently. No spoilers. Yeah, I almost blew it a couple weeks ago, Clarence. But yes, they got a plug. Then there's a house divided that will never stand. House divided is going to always fall, right? And that is what we're seeing with the DCEU, with the people who consider themselves really diehards. They have broken off into two camps. That whole Snyder verse camp, and then the regular diehards. Um, that could be a problem. That could be part of the problem, as far as I can't say that's the problem with marketing, but that is a problem with ticket sales. These people are fighting amongst themselves. They're fighting, but they want more of the stuff that they're fighting about. It's a pretty much they're shooting themselves in the foot. Go out and support the stuff that you're getting. Give an honest review of that thing, but go support it. Give an honest review and hope things get better. That's the way, at least that's the way I look at it. I thought that, well, you said Kevin Conroy played Bruce Wayne, the most recent Batwoman series. I thought it was that Crisis of Infinite Earths. So it was like that crossover, that big old crossover that they do on the CW shows. But either way, that's where I'm pulling that Batman, that live action Batman. We also, the one that I'm missing is, I think his name is Ian Glenn. Um, yeah, Ian Glenn played the Batman character in, well, he played the Bruce Wayne character in Titans. I didn't include him for only reason, I guess, that I didn't include him is because I forgot, to be quite honest. I forgot until I sat here and kept looking at it, and I was like, okay, who am I missing? And yeah, it was Ian Glenn. Yeah, it was the big crossover event, but it was one of the Batwoman episodes of that crossover. So that is where we saw live action Kevin Conroy. I don't remember if we saw him in the suit, but I do remember that uh yeah, that Batman had been scarred, and he did a pretty darn good job as Bruce Wayne slash Batman. But we're gonna start from the 60s. There were some 1940s Batman movies that I don't know a lot about. My memory of Batman starts in the 1960s version. By the time I came around along, they were playing the reruns like every day, and every day I would hustle my little butt home from school so I could watch Adam West being the Batman. Wait a minute, let me pick this up. You say hopefully we'll see a live action Terry Mcginnis. Terry Mcginnis, was that the Batman Beyond? I gotta be 16-year-old Terry McGinn. Yeah, that was Batman Beyond. Okay. But yeah, we've got Adam West from 1966 to 1968. That is my start with the Batman. I didn't even start with comic books. I started with Adam West as that campy Batman back in for me, was the late 70s. Angus said there was a black and white Batman series earlier, but it wasn't very good. So that has to be the one from the 40s. I don't know nothing about that one. Clarence is throwing his support behind Batfleck. Batfleck forever. Oh gosh. So yeah, and everybody is telling me that Batman Beyond was the Terry McGinnis one. Yeah. And Angus says he's putting putting his support behind Ben Affleck for number two. He's number two. He's number two. Well, so there was a big space of time between Adam West and our next big live action Batman, and that was Michael Keaton, who is my baby. I don't care what y'all talking about. Michael Keaton was my baby as Batman, and I still love him. So he did it from 1989 to 1992. Then we have Val Kilmer, who only did it in 1995, and that was the introduction of this the nursing suit, the suit that has the nipples on it, so that you can nurse your baby. I suppose, I don't know why you would want that, but it was there, and we rolled with it in 1995. We rolled with it. Oh, you said you're surprised, you're shocked that George Clooney was ever Batman. If he ever played Batman, it would have been so shockingly bad that I would have been forced to blot it from my memory. Well, I'm glad that you have that power, because that's for sure. If I have to pick the worst, oh gosh, George Clooney, this was an embarrassment in 1997. But there he is. And then Bruce Thomas played Batman in the Birds of Prey TV series in 2002. Yeah, you say we should talk about how bad it was, or how horrible it was to play Batman in those first few movies. You couldn't move in that suit. Yeah, the movie, the Adam West version of the bat suit was probably the most comfortable. But as you move forward, these suits became far less functional than you would ever. They look good. They looked good, but they were far less functional than they should be for uh, a mercenary, but not a mercenary, but a vigilante. He's got to be stealthy. And we know that Batman moves like smoke. So those suits were not functional at all. You said Val Kilmer said, I ain't even coming back because it was such a horrible experience. And I can imagine that's probably why most of these early ones didn't come back, huh? I was glad that Michael Keaton gave us the two movies that he did. But yeah, I guess if I had that type of experience where the cowl, as you know, you're restricted, I wouldn't want to be in that suit either. But the suits looked good. If all we had to go by was looks, I was like, okay. I don't know. I was never the costume chick where everybody knows, okay, as soon as I see that crest in the middle of that Batman outfit, oh, I know which Batman that is. I've never been that chick. Only one that I do know like that is the Michael Keaton one, because that's the first one that I guess I was very interested then, because in 1989, I would have been about to be, I'm trying to remember, I was about to be a senior in high school when this came out, and might have been about to be a junior. Either way, I can remember the excitement level around the original, the Michael Keaton Batman movie. I can remember how hyped we were to know that Prince was doing the soundtrack, to know that okay, we're getting this Batman movie that we haven't gotten in decades, literally since I was a little girl. And okay, Prince did the soundtrack. We had Jack Nicholson playing the Joker. I think we had the best, most hyped experience for a Batman movie ever. And it was simply because it had been so long since we had seen Batman, a live action version. Now we're so used to it that again that experience is lost on a lot of these kids. We didn't have social media. You had to be prepared to just see a trailer. And it was just like, I can't believe that we're getting this Batman. And even though everything might look a little cheesy, I think a lot of it still holds up. A lot of people might say something about the Prince soundtrack, but that was a draw in 1989. But you know, as far as the movie, the hype, everything surrounding it, 1989, I don't think nobody can touch that. Angus said there's amazing techniques for both stealth and protection, but they all look like bulky armor, showing no abs, nor ripples, nothing, nor nipples. I'm sorry, nor nipples, nothing. Clara said that first movie was a blockbuster through and through. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing the advertisements. That's how things are supposed to be done. Of course, now that we're in this like social media, everything's instant. I can watch the trailer whenever I feel like it kind of world that we're in. And you still ain't releasing trailers like that. Do you see? I don't know, you know, and I hate to do the comparison because we're here to talk about Batman, but I am gonna compare. Even Spider-Man No Way Home. We had the trailers, then we had TV spots, then you had all the advertisement, you had the press junkets, all of these things that built up hype around a movie that I guess admittedly most people were already excited for, but you would expect the same type of treatment for a marquee character like Batman. When the studio doesn't put out a lot of marketing for a movie, I feel like they're ashamed of it. And my understanding from the critics is like, this is nothing to be ashamed of. This is a pretty decent movie. We're going to see, because Clarence had just the other day just mentioned that he watched that movie Kimmy, and then I turned around and was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch that. I watched it. I think Clarence and I had similar experiences with that movie. But when you look at Rotten Tomatoes, the critics is all about Kimmy. They are all about it. So that also makes me feel a little bit, I guess, disheartened when I start thinking about what the critics are saying about this Batman. Because I'm like, y'all are really up in this movie. Maybe I need to watch it again. Y'all are up in this movie like it was the best thing since sliced bread. But the audiences didn't like it. And I'm hoping that we don't have that type of situation with the Batman. We got some more Batman to talk about. And I guess these would be what I consider right now the big three of Batman. And that is the Christian Bale Batman from 2005 to 2010, the Ben Affleck Batman from 2016 to 2019, unless you're counting what he's going to be doing later on this year for the Flash movie. But yeah, that'll be 2022 then, right? Will be the end of his run. And then Kevin Conroy did the crossover event. He was a live action Batman. I have to put him on the list. Kevin Conroy is an icon when we are talking about Batman. Christian Bale, arguably one of the best trilogies ever, was the Batman trilogy, the Christopher Nolan movies. Those were arguably some of the best Batman. I think the last one was kind of meh. That's the one that had Bane in it. And while I thought that there was a lot of potential in Bane being there, it was kind of meh to me. I still love the movie, but the character of Bane was just a little. Ben Affleck, again, as hard. I guess if we're going to argue about things, he arguably has had the roughest time as the Batman. Again, he comes in. Ooh, he said you need a Batman No Way Home movie, and the thing is, Clarence, that's what this Flashpoint could set up. But I know the WB is not looking that far ahead. The Flashpoint could have, this Flash movie, they're not calling it Flashpoint, I don't think, but we know that that's the story that they're going for. they could do so much. Because I don't know if you guys remember the animated Flashpoint, the animated movie, where Flash goes and fixes his mother's death. His mother doesn't die, but it messed up that entire world where Thomas Wayne was the Batman in this world on this timeline. They got the pieces. You never seen the third one? I'm not honestly can't say that you're missing anything. It wasn't bad, but it was definitely the weakest of the three movies, the three Nolan films. But yeah, they got the pieces in place, Clarence, for what you just said, a Batman No Way Home movie where they have the Michael Keaton Batman. They could have had him playing, instead of playing Bruce Wayne, playing Thomas Wayne. Then you've got the Ben Affleck Batman that you're bringing in, and I don't know what they are planning with that character in that movie, but they have the pieces in place to really do something good with Flashpoint. But I bet you they're not thinking that far ahead. Flashpoint should be at least a 2-part movie, and it shouldn't have come this early in their DCEU catalog, because they haven't earned the right to have that big of an event movie. Not saying that I'm not excited for it. I'm still going to go see it to see what their vision is for Flashpoint live action. But they had the blueprint in that animated Flashpoint movie. You said the same goes for the Joker. It's Mark Hamill, Cesar Romero, and Heath Ledger. Yep, you've got your three, your big three. Even though I like Jack Nicholson, I did, but I like Cesar Romero, and I love Mark Hamill. I love Mark Hamill as the. So yeah, I would have to have some kind of room for Jack in there. And that's what I'm saying, Angus. Yeah, the animated Flashpoint bookended like 24 length animated films. So to introduce this live action Flashpoint so early, it reeks of desperation. That's first, because they know that they have to reset this thing. But the second thing that they have to do, or for me, that they didn't do, is earn the right to use this big storyline this close to the beginning of your if you're still trying to do a shared universe. Angus said at the end of those 20 plus movies, Flash realized that his mother needed to die that day to save the timeline and the world. Yeah. And again, I am a huge fan of the DC animated films. The last one I watched was Injustice. And while I do recommend it, there were a few things that I would have done differently. But when we compare the DCAU with the DCEU, the DCAU has put in the work. They can tell these big convoluted stories. They can go into these Elseworlds type events. And it wasn't even an Elseworld. It was like, okay, let's just see what happens if something pushes Superman over the edge. That's what Injustice was about. And when Superman went over the edge, it ends like you expect it to, and well, it didn't end like you expected to, but the turn of events happened exactly how you would expect it to. I do suggest watching Injustice if you have not yet done so. I really do love the DC animated content most of the time. I get my feelings hurt when I think too much about the live action stuff, not just the movies, the series. But we got one more Batman, but we have not yet seen his work. We've only seen the few little spotty trailers that they've put out, and that is the Robert Pattinson Batman. He is our present day Batman, and I have heard that he has put his mark on this character as far as reading what other people think. And I'm like, he has put his mark on this character. Is he going to be mentioned up there with the Nolan movies and Zack Snyder's universe? Are we going to elevate Robert Pattinson above those things after we see his rendition of Bruce Wayne / Batman? Yeah, so the best voice in Batman. Now, these are my opinions. You guys feel free to share your, if you have a dissenting view, feel free to share it, because I do want this to be a discussion. It ain't just me telling you. But the best voice for Batman is and always probably will be, for me, Kevin Conroy. And the reason is because if I'm watching an animated feature, and that has become a thing here lately, when I'm watching an animated feature and I don't hear Kevin Conroy's voice coming out of this character that's supposed to be Batman, they are doing it wrong to me. And they have begun to use other actors. He said, "Am I blue?" They have begun to use other actors, but and I can't say that I'm not behind these other actors. It's just like it feels foreign when it's not Kevin Conroy. I'm just noticing that this is the picture over here of Batman singing. Yeah, am I blue? I forgot. Oh gosh. But yeah, best voice to me is Kevin Conroy. What y'all think? You guys got some opinion on the voice of the Batman? Who captures that the best? Angus said the episode, that episode between Batman, Wonder Woman, and Cersei was resolved brilliantly. I don't even know if I remember it. He said, "What? It isn't Glenn with his Scottish accent." Oh gosh, that he drifts in and out of every so often. Glenn. You said you can't imagine him being voiced by anyone else. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't sound right. When it is somebody besides Kevin Conroy, it doesn't sound right. So no, it ain't Ian Glenn. No Scottish accent for Batman. Unless, you got to give me a good reason that Batman has a Scottish accent. Now, for me, you guys let me know if I'm off base. I think, as far as Bruce Wayne went, that Christian Bale captured Bruce Wayne far better to me than he captured Batman. And the Bruce Wayne character for this Batman is the costume. The Batman costume or uniform or whatever we're calling it, that Batman suit is who he really is. Putting on the mask is what Bruce Wayne does day to day in his life. Wait a minute. The best Bat voices, Clarence, has got to be Kevin Conroy, unless you want to go just live action. But once Kevin Conroy snuck in the door as a contestant, because he was in that one live action Crisis of Infinite Earths on CW, it couldn't. Nobody else could win. But now, as just a live action, no other way of remembering him. I don't know. I would have to say, let me think. Best Batman voice out of those characters. I didn't even give it a lot of thought because I snuck I snuck Kevin Conroy in there. But if we can't do that, I'll say the best Batman voice outside of that would probably be Affleck. You said Cersei was on a rampage, and Batman and Wonder Woman were hard pressed to stop her. Finally, she named a sacrifice that would make them stop. Batman had to humiliate himself on stage. Damn, I don't know if I remember even when I said that I don't remember it. I don't really remember it. I might have to go back and watch it. This Conroy doesn't change his voice between Batman and Bruce Wayne. Between Batman and Bruce Wayne, no, he is just the voice of the character. Yeah, he just uses the same freaking voice. If I have to choose, like changing the voice and all of that stuff, it would probably be Affleck. I didn't like what I didn't like what Christian Bale did with the Batman voice. So tell me what you guys think about that as I go through these comments too. He said, but he sang so well that even Cersei was in tears. She was glad to grant them the W. Conroy changes his voice for Bruce Wayne, but not for Batman. And that's what I'm wondering. Are these choices intentional? Like for me, the Bruce Wayne character between between the Christian Bale's Batman and Bruce Wayne, I feel like he played the part of Bruce Wayne better because he realized that is what he's doing. He's playing a part. Who he really is probably more Batman than Bruce Wayne. So he has to put on a mask to be Bruce Wayne. Angus said he didn't like what Bale did for his gravelly voice in the Batman suit. I don't think I liked it too much either. And you say you think for Affleck he had a vocoder. I don't know what it is about certain syllables that I cannot say anymore. Vocal, forget it. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Oh gosh. Yeah, I don't know. Can't make my mouth do it anymore. So to me, best just Bruce Wayne. When you just think about that character, I think Christian Bale nailed it. When we're thinking about the best Batman, I'm sorry, I told y'all I love Michael Keaton. I love Michael Keaton. You said there was an episode of Batman Beyond where we learned that Bruce Wayne calls himself Batman in his own thoughts, and I guess this is where I'm coming up with my thought process on it is that yeah, the character is always Bruce Wayne. Batman is for real. Bruce Wayne is just he is the costume. Now, the best Batman to me is going to always be Michael Keaton. Gave us an introduction on what a live action Batman that we're meant to take seriously. He gave us our first look at what that would look like. All the gadgets, all the toys, the utility belt, the Batmobile. He gave us all of that. The difference between Batman and Bruce Wayne, and why I didn't say he was a great Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne was still whooping ass as Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne. He's supposed to kind of like step into the shadows and become Batman. Yeah, you said you like the Bale suit because he could turn his neck, and they explained how that makes sense. The only thing is now you got gaps, in your armor. You have to be careful. Somebody can stab you in the gaps in your armor. So yeah. I didn't do best suit. Who do you guys I didn't do one for best suit. Who do you guys think had the best suit? I'm gonna guess that Clarence really liked the Bale suit. Who had the best bat suit? And it would have to be between Christian Bale and Ben Affleck, because they can actually move in it. It's functional, or it's more functional than that stuff that they started off with. Yeah, I would think it would have to be one of them. I haven't given, and I guess I can because I got a picture of it. I haven't given the Robert Pattinson suit much of a, I didn't look at it that. I looked at it in some ways, but I was pacing. I was basically paying attention to the guns, that the bat symbol in his suit looks like it's made up out of some type of weapon. I thought it was guns. We're gonna take a look of it in a second. Now, but again, we going with live action. I don't think I've seen a live action yet of Terry McGinnis, but I could be wrong. Hey, Reinhardt. Reinhardt said, I was just saying how much I love Michael Keaton as Batman today. And I know compared with the later interracial ends of Batman, this one might, the later iterations of Batman, this one might seem a little campy, but it still holds up to me. Yeah, I mean, I think this is less campy than, of course, than the Adam West stuff. Are they self-aware? Are they poking fun at themselves? Not 100% sure, but I think that this one does hold up still as well. It was basically Iron Bat, but we don't have a live action Terry yet. And I'm pretty sure, especially hoping that the Batman movie is successful, I'm sure that they've got to have some kind of plans. I would have thought that they had these kinds of plans when they cast Ben Affleck, because Ben Affleck was arguably he had already aged out of that role. He wasn't going to be able to play it for very long. So what we got out of Ben Affleck is a worn down Batman. He's tired. He's been doing this on his own for years at this point. So they would have had some kind of plan to bring somebody in, a younger actor, to take up the mantle. You say you call it Holly for best Catwoman, and he said you're kidding, of course. Yeah, that the argument has been for Michelle Pfeiffer, and to be quite honest, she was just Catwoman. I didn't feel Catwoman off of her. I just knew she was Catwoman because that's who they told me she was in in the show notes. I hope Zoe knocks it out the park. And technically it looks like she does, as far as the trailers are concerned. I know we got 3 hours of movie to wrap around that 6 minutes of trailer that we've seen. We got 3 hours of movies to wrap around that. And there is an opportunity for them to not, maybe she won't be a good Catwoman. We'll see. Angus said he's going with Affleck's anti-Superman suit for the best suit. That sounds good, yeah. Reinhardt said, I love the entire thing with Terry McGinnis, Angus, but they kind of messed it up when they really started trying to explain his backstory. Yeah, they promised, you're talking about Ben Affleck at this point, right? A movie with full control, and DC pulled out of it. And now, it's gotten to where Ben Affleck said, I don't want to have no parts of that anymore. He doesn't want to do movies with a built-in audience based on the IP. And I don't blame him. This was a horrible experience, and I can't imagine that Daredevil was better. The only reason that Daredevil was not as bad, the backlash, is because social media wasn't as big a thing. now that social media, the people just their voices, their little tiny voices, they band together and they just bombard you with complete and utter BS. I wouldn't want to play uh, a character based on one of these big IPs as well. I think I would have the same opinion. Angus said, "You mean Waller's genetic tampering? That was ridiculous." Yeah, y'all talking about Batman, the animated shit, the animated ish. But yeah, so I'm saying for me, don't have to be for you. The best Batman for me was Michael Keaton. The best of both, like when we have to put it all together and say, okay, you can only choose one. Who you choosing? Who you like as the best Batman, of the best of both Bruce Wayne and Batman? And I'm going with Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck gave us, for the time, um, for the time period that we're supposed to be in his timeline, I think he gave us the most rounded experience. He was tired. He was just tired. But much like Batman, he was always ready. I think that Ben Affleck captured that flow between Bruce Wayne and the Batman the best so far. You said Daredevil had an amazing cast too. It sure did. Let's go and take a look. It sure did though. And it was what he was given to work with. They that was bad. It was bad. And I went to the movies and everything to see it, but it wasn't, to me, it wasn't a great movie. They had Jennifer Garner, Michael Clark Duncan, Colin Farrell. Yeah, it had a hell of a cast. It was just badly written. Angus said DC needs to give Affleck what they owe. Now I don't know what they owe. I don't know. What's the story about as far as money, if that's what we're talking about, because he's already said he don't want to do anything else as far as the character of Batman. Um, and he kind of got that signed off on by Matt Damon as well. Matt Damon is like, look, man, you don't need to do that. And I can understand again why Ben Affleck is like, forget that franchise. As a matter of fact, forget franchise movies altogether. Michael Clark Duncan did die too soon. Yes. Reinhardt is saying he's going with Christian Bale as his favorite. So his favorite altogether, best Batman, best Bruce Wayne, you giving that to Christian Bale? You said you wish you got more Affleck as Batman and Michael Keaton. Of course, we already said kicked it all off. So he's the OG. I got a problem with the Christian Bale being as far as Batman. Not saying that he was a bad Batman. Those are some fantastic movies. The whole ensemble was great, but just Batman, I wasn't feeling like, if he never was Bruce Wayne, I wouldn't have been able to feel his performance. You're saying it too. Christian Bale was the definitive Batman. Hi, David. And it can't be repeated. Well, how we know that? We don't know what Robert Pattinson is going to do. Now he might put his foot in his role. I'm gonna give it a chance. The best looking Batman, man, and I'm talking as he wore the costume, how he looked, the freaking chin, because there's a certain chin that you gotta have for that cowl. You can't have you can't have too much chin. You got to have just enough. Ben Affleck had the freaking cleft in his chin. To me, he embodied what Batman looks like. The size, the imposing type figure. Uh, Batman is, yeah, we're supposed to be intimidated by him. Ben Affleck is 6'4". When you make all that muscle, uh, as far as like putting on the muscle, the conventional good looks for Bruce Wayne, but the intimidation factor when you got on the cowl, I don't think nobody touched freaking Ben Affleck. David, you said you trust me. Don't don't trust me too much. I'm going to see it for the first time. I have not seen it, so hopefully it's gonna be good. I'm gonna give it a chance. Angus said Morgan Freeman was the best Lucius Fox. I loved him in that role. Yeah. Claire said I'm going with Bale too as best Batman. Wow. And Angus said I want to see what Andy Serkis does with Alfred. I heard that he did really well with that character. But yeah, y'all, I want to go back. I want to go back and just look at my Christian Bale. Now, I love the movies. As a Batman, I want to stand him up. Yeah, I want to stand him up with the other. Stand him up with the other actors. Okay, so we've got Adam West was 6'2". He cut kind of an imposing figure, even though he was the biggest probably joke out of all of them, even though I still love Adam West. Michael Keaton, 5'9", too short for Batman to me. Val Kilmer, 6 feet, meh. George Clooney, 5'11", meh. Christian Bale, 6 feet. Robert Pattinson is 6'1". The only one that I think that I guess when I think about intimidation, I got a son. My son is 6'5". So I mean, yeah, once you start talking about being like a imposing kind of figure, a looming kind of figure, it definitely has to be taller than 5'10" for me. I probably am more in awe of anybody taller than my son. But I know that's kind of a ridiculous request. My son is absurdly tall. Clarence said he definitely would give Affleck the look. He got in shape to do it. Yeah, and he really put on a lot of muscle, and he really looked good in the suit. Reinhardt said he thinks it's going to knock it out the park, and he can't wait. Talking about the Batman, and man, Reinhardt at the top, I did that where I looked at the theaters around me, they're getting more full. Still not as full as I hope that they end up being, but they're getting more full now. Morgan totally kicked ass. Yes, he did. Morgan Freeman is a freaking legend. Whatever you give to him, he knocks it out the park. So yes. Reinhardt said, okay, you got to give him props. They've had some pretty amazing Alfreds in the Batman franchise. Yes, they did. And I don't know how good Andy Serkis does, but I have heard that he has done pretty darn well. Yeah. Angus said West took the role seriously, but not so much he couldn't have fun with it for the rest of his life. I don't even know if he took it seriously, Angus. And the reason I'm saying that, I don't know what I was listening to the other day. What they wanted him to do is play it serious. even though it was campy, silly in a lot of instincts. So he he played it he played it very straight, even though he knew that he was doing some weird stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Adam West kicked it all off, but it was all tongue in cheek before Christian Bale. And Reinhardt says, I wish that Christian Bale would have had the Ben Affleck suit, then it would have been perfect. But I'm a huge Ben Affleck fan, which is why I was pissed at the backlash over him being named the Batman. And I'm going to be honest, before I knew what they were going to do with it, I wasn't completely on board with him becoming the Batman. Only because I'm like, okay, we're not going to have that many movies with him. He's too old for the character unless you're trying to tell a certain story. Now, we never got to the story that they may have been trying to tell, and why you would need this older Batman. But I was like, okay, you were talking about building a franchise and having interconnected movies and storylines, but your main actor, Ben Affleck for Batman, was far older than everybody else. Let me see how old Henry Cavill is. That'll make me because I know, yeah, even Henry Cavill is only 38. And I'm trying to see how old is Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is 49, same age as us. So he's same age as me. So I'm like, okay, he's 49 years old. We got to go back a few years. He was still in his late 40s when he got the role. So how many years did you expect to have this actor be Batman? And you were saying that you wanted an interconnected universe. I can see Cavill playing playing Superman. If they would have done that right, even I can see him playing Superman until maybe he was 45, 50, 45 at the absolute oldest, 45 years old, and then pass the torch. But yeah, these characters were all in different places in their life. I just don't understand why they thought that it was a good idea to get a talent that old, you know? Um 50's the same old 50. It is the same old 50. I don't know just yet. I'm not quite 50 yet, but 49, unless I'm about to go back 30 years, 49 is not the new 39 or the new 29, if you ask me. And you said you love him in Daredevil. And I know now we live in a massive era of comic book blockbusters, but when Daredevil came out outside of Spider-Man and the X-Men, that was it. You know what? You're gonna have to start putting some periods because I'm reading this whole thing like it was one thought, and this is several thoughts. Okay. I love him in Daredevil. And I know now we live in a massive era of comic book blockbusters. But when Daredevil came out outside of Spider-Man and the X-Men, that was it. I get it. um, Keaton playing old Bruce Wayne in a Batman Beyond movie would be good. And that's what I'm saying. Depending on the story that they're trying to tell, um, yeah, it would. It would be fantastic. If that's the story that they could tell, yeah, it would be. And I'm wondering if that's what they're trying to do with the Bat Girl movie that they're coming out with. You said you don't know The Rock is 49, but The Rock is a freak. he's a freak of nature. That's not normal. And look, I have to laugh because like my son's dad, he and I are the same age, and but he looks younger than me. So I look like sometimes in men just age well. I mean, yeah, age better, but I know my son's dad is very he's fit, because I was raising kids and he was going to the gym, but that's another argument for another day. But I think about it like there are some men who do age very well, and then there are some who start to look their age. Not saying that Ben Affleck doesn't look good. If Ben Affleck was walking outside these apartments right now, I would try to holler. but he does look his age to me. Ain't no dinosaurs out here, David. You say in that one picture, who is Bruce Thomas 2002? That is from the Birds of Prey TV show. And like I was saying earlier, I forgot another live action version, which was the Ian Glenn version from Titans, but he wouldn't have made the bottom of my list if we had to do a tier ranking of the Batmans, and we don't know yet what Robert Pattinson will do. We haven't seen it. Tier ranking is almost in order for me. I wouldn't put Kevin Conroy up here as far as if I wouldn't put Conroy as far as live action. I wouldn't put him up here. I would put Keaton up here. So I would say that I would go Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Val Kilmer, Adam West, and then George Clooney. I think George Clooney was the worst. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, my smile is it used to be. I'm chipping teeth and all this more than y'all wanted to know, but yeah. I appreciate the compliment. I'm gonna have to learn to just take a compliment. Uh, you said you don't want to remember Ian Glenn as Bruce Wayne. I was like, there is nothing about this man that says Batman to me, and he is a phenomenal actor. Make no mistake. Yeah, like Clarence pointed out, the Scottish accent, just nothing about this man saying Batman. You're right. It was just like, who's on the lot right now that could that's 6 feet tall that might be able to. Yeah, that's it. It is pick somebody. It wasn't a well thought out casting, was it? That whole season of Titans for me though wasn't well thought out. So there's that. Are y'all gonna watch it again? When Titans comes back out, are y'all gonna watch it again? Um, we didn't do a week by week, did we? I can't remember. We wasn't doing the stream something stuff at that time. Maybe we'll do a week by week. I don't know. Are y'all watching it still? I don't know if I was ready to give up on it. I said that, but I don't know if I really say the worst ever Batman. Yeah, there's been some bad ones, but Lord have mercy. Uh, Ian Glenn and George Clooney, they were terrible, terrible. The the movie for Clooney wasn't that good. You know, first and foremost, I don't think they gave him anything to work with. And the thing about it is, like, even then, I was like, okay, George Clooney is a good looking guy, but that just because you look good don't mean that you should be Batman. That's not I mean, I guess it is a requirement, but it's not. He has to be like that because you can almost look like anything as a billionaire, and you will be like that crazy bachelor about that man about town, because you're a billionaire. It doesn't even really matter what he looked like. People gonna call you handsome because you're a billionaire. I think about some of the well-known billionaires now. Like Elon Musk is not, to me, a conventionally handsome man. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg is not conventionally handsome. Bill Gates, no. I think I would have probably found Steve Jobs more just visually attractive, and he really wasn't. So yeah, you just gotta have a whole lot of money. So now, once we say, okay, this is Bruce Wayne, he's got a whole lot of money. He can look like anything as long as he looks right in that bat suit. But yeah, this. Oh, and I was talking about the taking a closer look at the Robert Pattinson bat suit, and this is what I was talking about. This little the sigil in the middle of his suit looks like it comes out, and it looks like it's weapons. I don't know what that is. Then it is kind of armored, but he does have mobility. He can move his head and neck. Uh, yeah, I wish I could play clips, but I already told y'all they gonna take it down as soon as I put it up. So because I could get a better view of how he moves in the suit when he's performing like an action sequence, when he out there beating people up. There's a lot of that, right? It's a lot of beating up going on in this movie. He's doing a lot of hand-to-hand fighting. Reinhardt said, I'm going to have to go ahead and say it. My least favorite Batman as far as the movies is my boy George Clooney. I watched Batman and Robin about 6 months ago to see if it was as bad as I remember. Yes. Yeah, that was terrible. It was absolutely it was the worst. It was the worst. Uh and then Ian Glenn got to be they are right there together. But Ian Glenn, at least, he never like was a movie or something like that. You said Idris Elba's character in the Suicide Squad had a nice armor kit going on. If Batman has something like that, I wouldn't hate it. Yeah, as long as it's just functional. It's got to be more functional than that stuff from the past. He can move around, and you could sell me the fact that you're doing the things that you are that we're seeing you do. If I could be sold on that, then okay. But yeah, I like the bat suit, the Robert Pattinson suit. I'm not let's see. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if this is where he starts, but is this where he ends with this suit? I don't know. I think this character is going on a journey. And I think the journey is because of, like the stuff said in the trailer, the sins of his father. That he's finding out that even though he's doing all this thing to get vengeance, basically protect the streets of Gotham, so that nobody else has to go through what he went through as a child, losing his parents. But he's finding out that his father really wasn't a hero. That's what I'm getting out of it. Hopefully we get well, I only got another day and a half before I'll be going to see it. And then I'll be doing a film review Friday for the first time in a long time. I'll be doing a film review Friday, this Friday, to talk in a very, very spoiler free way about the Batman. He said, I got to say, being 53 going on 54, I'm still longing for the day when we could see a Batman and Robin that makes sense. I'm pretty sure it's coming. Somebody got some ideas. It's just a matter of, uh, to me, Warner needs to put together a group of people to shepherd in uh, new characters, new storylines. They need a dedicated writers room or a group of writers for these franchises. And I'm thinking that that's what they thought they was doing before, but it's just not working. They just not doing it. It's just not working. David said Affleck's Bruce Wayne was good, just never see a lot of him in action except for the Superman battle. Yeah, when he at the beginning when he was I mean, we saw a little bit of it in the Justice League. We saw a little bit more of it in the uncut or the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League. Let me tell you, um, it was a lot that didn't make sense about that. I know we're talking about a Zack Snyder movie, and I didn't truly hate the Justice League. There was just a lot of stuff that went on, even after they did this or brought out this Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League. It was still stuff in there that I was like, okay, y'all didn't like that, which I can understand that Joss Whedon, there was a lot of Joss Whedon ish in there that I didn't like. But y'all didn't like that, but y'all like for no reason. Why was that lady singing at Aquaman? Why was she doing that? So these are questions that I had. Like, what did that have to do with anything? And I don't think it had much to do. I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna try to explain it to me, and I hope that you can. But yeah, they gave us a little bit more of Bruce Wayne in the in those Justice League movies, just a little bit more, but we didn't yeah, we didn't get to know him. It wasn't like he was hanging out with us uh except and when he was they wrote him so inconsistently, and I'm guessing that's going back and forth between that Whedon cut of the movie and then the Zack Snyder cut of the movie. It was a very inconsistent for what they gave Affleck to do. He did what they asked him to do. He did it. But then, because we don't know which version we're supposed to, because it was like he was lighthearted and happy in one version, and then he was back to being broody and sad in another one. How can you expect that man to master the character when y'all haven't even mastered writing him? He said it was confusing. It was. It bothered me. I really didn't like the way I think that was the one thing that bothered me the most. It was like that lady just standing there singing at why was she singing at him like that? Anyway, you said there was a dangerous amount of Aquaman worship in that remote fishing village. So was that what that was supposed to, because I didn't get that. So was that what that was supposed to mean, that they were kind of basically showing reverence to him, and they put their best singer out there so she could sing him a song while he walked back to the water? I'm guessing that's what it was, huh? Reinhardt said, I got to ask this question. When did we get to the point where Thomas Wayne is looking dirt crooked? It started with the Joker, and now it seems like the Batman is leaning into that too. That's what I'm saying. But was there a run? Because wasn't that court? Was he part of the Court of Owl thing? So was Thomas Wayne? I'm trying to think. Was he a member of the Court of Owls? They were okay. The Court of Owls were the masterminds behind the uh the masterminds behind the assassination of them. So let's see. Um, their existence has been passed down from generations in the form of an old Gotham City nursery rhyme. Beware the Court of Owls that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from a shadow perch behind granite and lime. They watch you at your hearth, they watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word of them, or they'll send the talon for your head. Yeah, I don't. I would have to read more of this. I know that they killed. They had the Waynes assassinated, but I'm guessing that in this one they're gonna have the Waynes be part of this organization. You said you really liked the Aquaman movie, intricate and visually stimulating. It was a beautifully shot movie. James Wan really did fantastic job. There was a lot about it I didn't like, but I cannot say that the visuals were among those things. Uh, Angus said he drives the fish into their nets and they gave him sanctuary. He likely slept with that singing girl. Just the singing, just they portrayed him as this super rich person who actually cared about the people, especially in the Christian Bale movie flashbacks. He's a good, decent man. And like, I'm good with whatever story they tell, especially once we've established that these are all different timelines, all different universes in their multiverse. So there can be there can be a timeline where Thomas Wayne was kind of crooked. There can be a timeline, but there can also be a timeline where he was a fantastic person, and the whole citizenry. I'm having a hard time making my mouth say words. All of the citizens would love him in this timeline, and in that timeline, he was a scoundrel, and in the next timeline, he survived, but his son Bruce got killed. You can see how all of these stories can still be told, um, because they've got multiple timelines. It's kind of like you make a mistake in continuity, we could just now throw that into another timeline and be like, oh, that was a whole different timeline. We don't even have to explain plot holes anymore. How about that? So yeah, but again, excuse me, again, that's the door that was open by having a Flashpoint, but did they earn it? Or do they even need to earn it? At this point, reset it so we can start it back and get things on track the way you want it now. Yeah, I don't know who they would put. Matt Reeves says he really wants to concentrate on the character of the Batman. He really is not trying to connect his films to other movies. I don't know if James Gunn wants to be the Kevin Feige of this universe. He's not even the Kevin Feige of the Marvel universe, but he's done some fantastic work. Same what he did to me. He did some fantastic work over here with the DC universe. That's some fantastic work. Doesn't mean that he's capable of building out a shared universe in much the same way that Kevin Feige did. Yeah, I don't know what the answers to those questions is, but they got it. They've got the door open for them by having the ability to say, "Oh, this happened in that timeline," and then we could clip that timeline off, and it has no bearing on what's going on over here. Joker, and they're already talking to Joker Part 2, whatever. And we're going to have all of these different movies existing at the same time, but not together. It's crazy. It's a crazy time to be alive. Because this week is, like I said, it's going to be freaking just crazy. The amount of stuff that's coming out this week. We're going to get the Star Trek Picard stuff. We still got Star Trek Discovery moving along. Got the Batman coming out. I think today or yesterday, or that what is it called? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's a couple of shows on Netflix that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Texas Chainsaw Massacre wasn't one of them, but I think I am going to watch it and review it. But yeah, so we've gone through my best voice, best Bruce Wayne, best Batman. I'm Vengeance. Best of both. And then the best looking. Yeah, pretty much have zoomed right on through those. Well, I don't know what that was about. Let me slide over here and get my phone. Oh, sure. Nightmare Alley, because I haven't watched it yet. I know it's on some streaming service now. I didn't watch it. I'm glad you reminded me. People already salivating over the potential to see Joaquin Phoenix Joker against Robert Pattinson, the Batman. I don't see how that would happen with Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips, because one would have to take a back seat to the other in some way, and I don't think that's going to fly. And then, okay, that's the blueprint for the Joker character, the Joaquin Phoenix character Joker. Would he be that old and have already been that much into the game by the time that Robert Pattinson Batman came on the scene? I don't know, because like, what year was that Joaquin Phoenix Batman supposed to be set in? That's number one. And then number two, Robert Pattinson is, in as far as this film goes, is I think second year Batman. Would Joker have been around for that long without Batman? Vengeance, the redressing of wrongs. And you said you are with Reinhardt 68. Yeah, I wouldn't even know how they would try to do it, just because of the time periods. That would be an old ass Joker tormenting this child, because that's basically what it would look like. Batman is in his second year. That Joker would have had to have been in his third or fourth year. I mean, in his 20th year by the time this Batman came around. Mm-mm. So yeah, it was supposed to be 1981. Yeah, 1981. Yeah, I've heard that. That's one version of Joker's origin, is that he was the one who pulled the trigger on the Wayne parents. Now, if they could tie it in like that, if they could say um, that he did pull the trigger, but he was hired by the Court of Owls, but then why would he be working with anybody else when he's all about anarchy? Yeah, it's just hard for me to see how they could relate those two things together. You said, okay, is anybody here not seeing Joker? Because I don't want to spoil anything. Well, one thing I could say, if they not planning on going to see it, you wouldn't be spoiling anything because they ain't planning on seeing it. I couldn't imagine being here as long as they have been if if they haven't planned to see it. He said it's a good storyline, lots of history. That was another one. Angus said he likes the one where young Bruce died, Thomas became Batman, and his mama became the Joker. Now that's a different storyline. I don't know. That would be a wild story to tell in a movie or something, I would think. But yeah, it is a good storyline. I don't remember which movie or which comic book run it was in. You said statute of limitations on the Joker movie have run out. Yeah, you could talk about whatever. Say whatever. The statute of limitation has run out. Say what you like. What was you going to what was you going to say, Reinhardt, that you thought was going to be a spoiler? My back is hurting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what movie it was though, Angus. Which you don't remember either. I know what you're talking about. It wasn't. Okay, Reinhardt said, one of two. This is the way that he thinks it could work. Bruce's parents get killed at the end of the Joker, and Bruce is about 10. Joaquin Phoenix Joker, you could easily say he's in his early 30s. In 1981, he was in his early 30s. That's still almost 40 years ago, though. That's still almost 40 years ago, man. 1981 to now. So that would put, unless they change the year that they're setting the Batman movie in, and I'm not 100% sure what year that movie is going to be set in. I would have to see what kind of technology that they have in the movie. Okay, so you said Joaquin Phoenix Joker, you can easily say he's in his early 30s, and you just jump it forward 20 years, and there you have it. So you got a 50-year-old Joker and a 30-year-old Batman. Now, does it jive exactly? No, but a lot of time, let's be honest, when do comic book movie timelines make sense? Yeah, it could work if, again, if they hadn't already done this Batman movie. The Joker movie is done, and they've already established that it was set in 1981. So now we got a large gap of time. So you would have to, okay, you say 20 years later, we wouldn't be able to see anything in the Batman movie that put it in any closer to us than it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, what, we couldn't see a cell phone. We couldn't see the internet being used. It's a whole lot that we wouldn't be able to see because the timeline has already been fixed to 1981. I think if they need a Joker, I think if they want a Joker, that they need to create one that, much like the Joker and the Batman that we see in real life, is that, well, not in real life, in the animated stuff, is they're kind of close to the same age, and Joker appeared simply to be a foe to this Batman. Oh, yeah. That's what, yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with you there. Would have to be a 20th century timeline. Contemporary would have to be totally redone. So either way, you have to redo something, you know. And Reinhardt says, see, that was one thing I loved about the Michael Keaton, Tim Burton Batman movies. They were very ambiguous about what year it was or what was going on in the real world. They just built their own. And but I mean, even that, I was talking about how some people believe that the one thing that has aged or hasn't aged that well with the original Batman movie is the soundtrack. Now, excuse me, I loved the soundtrack to the original Batman, but again, I was, what, 16 years old. I was supposed to love it. They were making it, they were aiming it at my age, my demographic. But yeah, uh, that's what a lot of people would complain about now, to say that that is the only thing that's no longer holding up, is the music and his toys. His toys would have to be fantastic right now. Yeah, the soundtrack, not the score. The print soundtrack. So yeah, that's what a lot of people have brought up when you say what part of that movie would need to be redone today. I don't think so. I love the Prince soundtrack, but there are people who think that. I would think if we have to change one thing to pull that movie from 1989 until today, is they would have to change the gadgets. It would have to be something more up, you know, more with the times, more contemporary. We couldn't have him. He had to have uh, cell phone technology. He'd have to have Wi-Fi. They was doing it back then without all of this stuff. Batman was a beast when we didn't have the technology. You said you had that in the original CD and still have the round black canister special edition CD that came out. I had the original CD as well. Yeah, but I don't collect. I wasn't a collector. Didn't think 2 feet in front of me about keeping this CD in pristine condition. But I wish I did, because it was bomb. And I liked that R. Kelly, the next Batman movie with that Gotham City. I loved that. That was the Flashpoint Paradox. Okay. So yes, I remember that movie. I mean, watching that. I loved the Flashpoint Paradox. Loved it. How much would that suck to have your arch nemesis be your ex? Would be freaking terrible. Absolutely ridiculously terrible. Be your ex, your child's mother. Y'all connected by that, even if the child is no longer alive, you are connected with one another through that child forever. And that's why I always say, Choose wisely out there, young men, because you're stuck with her forever. If you can't see yourself having this person as part of your life forever, you probably should not be dealing with them. Well, shoot. Oh no, you say you got that villain. That is not good. That's one thing I can say. I get along with my son's dad for the most part. For the most part, most of my exes. There's some who I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Be like, oh no. But for the most part, I get along with most of them. Reinhardt said the book is so much better. I know that's cliche to say, but if they put that in the movie, oh my God, because in the Flashpoint movie, Martha, as the Joker, she goes off. And I agree with that a lot of times, that the book is almost certainly, because they've got far more time to expound on an idea in a book, and it's your own imagination that is making up what things look like and how things, you get that from your own imagination. But then there are some people who just don't like to read, and I'm not shitting on them. So to me, to put that story in front of some people who are not going to read no book, no comic book, they're not going to look at no picture book, they're not going to read nothing. If we want to put this story in front of them, it's going to have to be either an animated or motion picture form. I think they did okay when we think about it like that. But then as far as a reader, yeah, the books are generally always better. Uh, even the liberties that they take to make the book and the movie a little different. Um, the book, I will still lean heavily towards the book over a movie most of the time. Reinhardt said, in the Flashpoint movie, you only see her for a moment as Joker when Thomas is explaining it to Flash. In the book, she does all kind of shit and she's brutal. Yeah, that's what they do. The book is always, they got time to flesh things out. That in a movie, especially these animated movies, they're not making these 3 hours long. They are generally 1 hour, 29 minutes. 1 hour, 32 minutes. They are not long. They're not in that 90-minute range. So they just telling a surface story. You get this flashpoint run of the comic books, and then you might feel like, oh my goodness, so much more to this story. It's just like The Color Purple. It's just like I used to all the James Patterson movies, uh all of the ones that were made. Who was the one that wrote The Firm and The Runaway Jury and those books? Um the movies were far better. I mean, the books were far better than the movies, but I still had I had a very good time watching those movies. You said female Joker? Interesting. Yeah. The Bruce Wayne's mama, all the way off the chain. You said, oh yeah, David, when you get a chance, read the Flashpoint Paradox book or watch the Flashpoint animated movie. Yes, I agree. You say you'll probably read the book, you'll probably have a better a better experience because you'll get to see the phases of Martha Wayne becoming the Joker. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else. We sat here, we've talked about our Batman stuff. It Does everybody in here, did you guys have any plans to go to see the movie, or are you guys just gonna wait it out to see what people are thinking? And then if you're not, I know you gotta be, if you're in here, you gotta be watching that uh Star Trek Picard. We're gonna be getting that soon. Like, I don't think I'm gonna sleep. It's gonna feel like Christmas, or maybe I'll just sleep all day tomorrow. So it'll just feel like Christmas. I'll wake up and I can watch Picard, and then I can you know, do the other stuff too. Batman. That's the other stuff. Oh, yeah, I have forgotten. Yeah, yeah, Reinhardt's wife was in like a minor car accident. The car is totaled, but she is well. So yeah, I hope she continues to feel better. And yeah, you're saying you're going Thursday night when you guys get to North Carolina. Okay. You said you're past the time when you could go to movie theaters. Maybe someday you can go again, but it's difficult imagining such a day. Oh. Oh, wow. You said you'll have to wait for DVD. You're on a goat farm high in the Rockies. Wow. That's something different. And Clarence said he's going to try to catch it. Yeah. Well, um they put some other pictures of the Star Trek Picard out, and let me see if I've got the right page. I don't know why they yeah, they just had a few more pictures. Angus, you grew up on a goat farm? Wow. Well, shoot, I don't think I've ever even been to a goat farm. Now I feel jealous. Ain't it crazy how stuff just like our little group, boy, we are getting tested in this season, I'm telling you. Both of them are coming on. Oh, Clarence said he's glad your wife is okay. And you said are Picard and Discovery coming out on Thursday? Picard is, yeah, they'll both be playing on the same day. And I don't know if it's 2 to 3 episodes that we're going to get like that. You say goat milk? Everybody say goat milk is good. I don't think I've even tried goat milk before. I went straight from like the regular dairy stuff uh to the almond stuff. Jean-Luc Picard and Q. I don't know why this picture freaks me out. Maybe it's just the way that he's looking at the camera. Yeah, I didn't like that too much. Oh, is it different? You said the smell of goat milk is very nostalgic for you. It instantly takes you back. You don't have the same problems with goat as you do cow's milk. Um, and I'm gonna guess that you're not talking to plants here. You're talking to Clarence. it's possible that you it's possible that you were talking to Clarence and not plants. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm tired of hearing that noise. Oh, thank you, Clarence. I'm gonna buy a drink at the theater. Yep. Oh my goodness, I don't know. I'm gonna be there 3 hours, so I guess I'd better buy a drink at the theater, huh? I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Let me see. You said, Clarence, if you may say so, the last two episodes that you listened to discussing Treks were off the chain. Amazing analysis. I agree with pretty much everything. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoying Clarence commentary. Um, and then David is sending well wishes for your wife, her full recovery from the car accident. And Reinhard said I was speaking in the wrong voice. You said Jerry Ryan doesn't have to do that extra makeup. What extra makeup? Oh, as far as her implant and all of that stuff, she's just herself. Yep. And then Brent Spiner. And then Rios. Santiago Cabrera, Cristobal Rios. And who? Oh, you talking about Jerry Ryan? Birthday coming. Yeah, it's got some intriguing things going on for Star Trek Picard. I don't know what this. You said Santiago Cabrera is a fave of yours, Angus. I'm tripping over why everybody looking so posed. You said are Jerry Ryan and Brent Spiner on Picard? They are. Now they're Jerry Ryan is playing Seven of Nine, but Brent Spiner is playing a descendant of one of the Soongs. You got Laris and what is her name? Raffi and Laris. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. And hopefully, next week, well, hopefully Sunday when we sit down, it'll still be all Star Trek. It'll just be Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery. Yeah. So he plays Soong's son in season 1 of Picard. He might be doing the same in season 2. Yep, that's something to keep our eye on. Which character is he going to be portraying? Because it's always something uh, where with Brent Spiner, he could be playing anybody that's in the family of Soong. So yeah, I've given you guys my 2 hours. Is there anything else you got? Is there anything else you guys got before I take off? I'm trying to think of what I'm gonna eat. I was supposed to make stuffed peppers today, So I'm hoping that tomorrow that's what I feel like getting up and really starting early. Reinhardt said, I really haven't seen much about Discovery's episode this week. It's kind of being overshadowed by Picard's premiere. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Did I see anything? Did I see a trailer? I don't think I saw anything. But before I take off here, let's see if they got any pictures or anything else um, about coming from the series. He got a handle. David, he has a handle on all of the descendants of Sung. So here we are. We got some pictures from Rosetta. So I'll share these pictures since we are looking for a. No, I forgot I closed it. I gotta reshare. So we got them in their little tactical suits. They going somewhere. How about I just put my glasses on and read this little article? And Star Trek Discovery's fourth season continues this week. We've got a new collection of photos from Rosetta to share with you today. After the Discovery crew made their journey through the galactic barrier last week, Captain Burnham and her team visit an extragalactic planet that seems related to the mysterious species 10C. Meanwhile, Book and Tarka catch up to Discovery, but must secretly board the starship to use its systems to capture the DMA's immense power source. So we still got it. Look, it sounds like we still got Book helping Tarka, and I'm like, okay, Clarence, you're gonna drop the press images in the Discord with the spoiler tag. So if you guys want to see them, that's where there will be the press images. I got these three pictures, and that's all I'm gonna show is what these new pictures. Well, it looked like Stamets has got the room, the attention of the room. And in the room, we've got Saru, we got Michael Burnham, we got President Rillick, we got old boy, and I keep calling him old boy. I can't think of his name, man. um, and we have President Tarina. He is briefing the leadership team. It's only three pictures, which kind of breaks my heart. Heck. And then we also have Adira speaking with Stamets and Culber. Culber looked like he's dressed to go on this away mission. And we are making this a thing where Culber is going on all the away missions. But yeah, I mean, we're making it a thing. So now it's a thing. Harai, is that his name? Thank you, because I've been calling him old boy. I better write it down because I knew it was a H, but I could not remember what this man's name was supposed to be. And it seems like he is in awe of Harai. Seems like he's in awe of Kovich. Like Kovich is just he was just hanging on his words and laughing, and he was he's Kovich's biggest fan. Reinhardt, both actually. You mean Clarence has a Discord channel for discussing Trek, the discussing network, and then I have one as well called After the Snap Fam. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be in both places. Is the Hattori Hanzo role with Tarantino? I don't know. I don't know. Tarantino. I thought we wasn't doing that with the Tarantino stuff. So Book and Tarka is going to try to sneak onto this doggone Discovery ship. He said he's going to drop it in the After the Snap Fam Discord, okay? What I don't know, and I was reading an article before where they said it was 13 episodes of Discovery. Then I read somewhere else that it was oh they were saying that it was oh gosh, what was I saying? I lost my the how many episodes it is. Yeah. I'm gonna drop a link down there now, I think. I'm gonna put a link down in the chat for this Discord. If it comes, if it shucks. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Hey, so yeah, how many episodes is it? How many episodes? I thought Wilson Cruz, when he was kind of going off on them people in the chat on Facebook that I told y'all about a few weeks ago, he said 13. And I would think that he would know. But I'm still gonna look to see if they've got anything. Doop, 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 doop. Um, I'm guessing I only see 12. And we are on we're gonna be on 11. So this is I'm guessing this is gonna be the penultimate, huh? You know what? I was looking at this and I didn't even pay attention to the fact that was Detmer. Yeah, but I'm glad to see her going out. And so they leaving the ship, and then Booker and Tarka are going to try to sneak on. I don't even know how you think you just because they not on the ship. How do you think you're going to sneak on this ship with all these people? If they are able to do this, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna throw my remote control. I promise you. But anyway, well, that's it. I'm excited for. I'm probably more excited for Picard and and Discovery than I am for the Batman. But I'm excited for all of them. That is what my Thursday is going to look like this week. You know, I got to do a whole lot of mind prep to get out the house and do these things. I'm gonna try really, really hard. I can't not look at the phone when it does that. You said you're gonna look forward to seeing those on DVD. I hope we haven't spoiled anything for you, sir. But yeah, I'm super excited. You know, I gotta do things to get out the house. You know, I've got my. If I was to show you, I bought some new gummies. Um, And when I bought some gummies and I know that I cannot take no 12.5, no 25 milligram, no 50 milligram of THC in my gummies. It's got to be that 12.5. That's my sweet spot. That's where it just balances me, but I don't get like super high. Well, they sent me. Okay, I had to make sure I showed them. They sent me these. I guess I better. They sent me these, and these things is 25 milligrams. And I was like, well, I should have a tolerance. No, this gets me this. I don't like that feeling. So I got these. These should help me get out the house. These should help me get out the house. It's 12.5 milligrams, and it is perfect for my, what I use them for, which is mostly for my anxiety. So that's what I'll be doing that tomorrow, trying to get my mind right. You said, I don't know, wrong voice again. That day that I love. I don't know. It's a lot going on in here, and I'm not 100% what you're talking about. Right, Heart. Whoa, you're doing 200 milligrams of what? 200 milligrams a piece, or 200 milligrams like a serving? What are we talking about? 200 milligrams of anything would probably kill me. 200 milligrams would probably kill me. Yep, this 12.5, perfect. I'm still going to be hungry. So thank you, Clarence, for getting me something to drink. All I have to do is grab my popcorn now and and refill it a couple of times while I'm sitting there for 3 hours. 200 milligrams of THC per dose. That's a lot, David. Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Reinhardt, you was talking about baby goats running around. I get it. I'm about to take off, y'all. It's gonna be time to eat. You were one of the first legal patients, and that 200 milligrams, what does it do to you? Because goodness gracious, I could not with 200 milligrams. I could not. 200 milligrams. Oh my goodness, those 25s. 25s is too much for me. If I ate 4 of them, I don't know how I would. Yeah, I don't know how I act. Goat yoga is a thing. Yeah, but anywho, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. A little tiny itsy bitsy part of me says I don't want to do tomorrow's show, and I don't think I am. So tomorrow there will be no midweek meltdown. Join me here on Friday when we talk about the Batman at length. At length. With no spoilers. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to talk about the box office. Okay, Malbuzz, pain relief, and sleep. So maybe I'll try to take like one of the 12s and one of the 25s. That'll be at 37.5. And I'll see if that helps me sleep, because I'll be up at ridiculous hours a night. I'm surprised that some of the people that's on my Discord probably be like, Tasha, you You really be up doing this? That's what I be doing. I just stay up all night. I'm trying not to do that. Maybe if I take a little bit more, it would put me to sleep. But yeah, so we'll talk Friday about the Batman box office, what I thought of the movie, and yeah, very no spoilers. And then Saturday, you can join me again for the weekly wrap up. I don't have anything else. I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. The link to the Discord is in the chat. So go ahead and use that to join the Discord. Yeah. Oh, eating food on top kicks it in. Well, that's what's about to happen because I'm about to eat food too. So yeah. So I'll catch up with you guys on Friday. Thank you so much for being here. Peace.